Welcome to Shep Rambles, where I am Shep and I tend to ramble about what? Anything and everything. There are some really tough times happening with people, and I wanted to go ahead and bring this up. And I don't know if this is going to affect where I'm at, because we get our gas imported in from other states. We don't use a whole lot of gas here. We have a hot water heater and we have a gas stove, and that's really it. I would say probably the most that we would be using is our hot water heater. Hopefully we're not going to have to deal with this, because I don't know how in the world we would be able to. I don't know how these people are going to be able to deal with this either. But Kansas, they've got heating bills that could be 25 times normal in some cities. So let's take a look at this. This is from the Wichita Eagle. So ordinarily, the city of Winfield, they spend about $1.5 million a year on natural gas for customers of its public utility department. And during this cold spell that's been going on this past week, Winfield had to buy $10 million worth of gas in 6 days. They're estimating a normal bill would be about $100 range just for natural gas. Ours, where we're at, is around $32. So again, if you're multiplying that by 100, 200, or whatever, it's just way too much. We're on a limited income. But they're estimating $2,500 for this event for just 1 month, if they were to just straight pass that on to a customer. So their first and foremost obligation was to have gas continue to flow during these temperatures that are happening right now. And they were successful with that, but now they're trying to figure out how to meet that financial obligation. Usually they would pay about $3 for the standard measure of a 1 million British thermal units of gas, but during the cold spell, that price peaked to $622, which is more than 200 times the price than just a couple of weeks ago. The city administrator, Daniel Young, quoted, "We're faced with sending out utility bills that we fear that the residents and the businesses won't be able to pay. But at the same time, we're being faced with a bill to pay as well to the gas supplier. So why is everything so high? Is it extortion? What is it?" Well, a lot of things had to happen, and as a result, it did cause the gas prices to rocket to levels that were just unimaginable a few weeks ago. The contributing factor was that the temperature dropped well below zero outside. Residents had to run to their furnace more to keep their homes livable. And the administrator was saying that customers were using about 3 times as much gas as they normally would at this time of year. Wind power was compromised early on because the wind turbines had iced up, similar to Texas, and we'll get into that. As a result, municipal utilities were competing for the limited supply of natural gas, not just with other gas companies, but with the electric companies as well. It couldn't have happened at a worse time, because there are residents and businesses that are still struggling to recover from the losses caused by the pandemic thing that's going on. So it was one thing to get hit last year with the shutdowns and everything, and some places are still having to deal with that. Now they've been able to reopen, but now they're getting hit with this. It's just one thing after another. There's a residential community outside of Wichita by the name of Ketchy, and it usually spends about $150,000 to $160,000 a year on natural gas for its customers. Increase that by a factor of 200, and that's just insane. Yeah, and basically they were saying that they spent that in just one day. So this is absolutely crazy. Again, I don't know how businesses or people are going to be able to handle this. Let's just go into what's happening in Texas. Some of you, probably a lot of you, are aware of what's happening in Texas, but I've got viewers from around the world, and everyone's got issues that are happening out there, but I don't want to make any assumptions, so let's talk about Texas. Texas residents are ending up with $5,000 electric bills after the winter storms, and in some cases it's a lot more. There is another article, someone that was hit with a $10,000 bill. So there were some Texans that were billed $1,000 a day for electricity just last week. And the reason for this is that their home and office bills are tied to wholesale electricity prices. And we'll explain what that is. But basically, the price of electricity surged 10,000% because the demand increased and the supply itself fell online. So some Texas residents are facing bills over $5,000. I think they're saying that this is an average of $6,362 average for less than a week's worth of energy. So there's a lot of people who, they didn't get electricity. They're freezing. People have died. I'm sure there's probably a bunch more that are sick. So they didn't get electricity, but those that did get electricity wound up with insane bills. And the reason for that is that they're tied to this wholesale market rate, which helps them have lower bills, but it fluctuates throughout the year, as opposed to some residents that they're set on a plan where they pay the same amount every month. That's what we're on. We're on a plan where it's the same every month. And then like every quarter or so, they readjust that monthly price based on what we used. So the governor, Greg Abbott, he met with lawmakers on Saturday to address this crisis. We are moving quickly to alleviate this problem and will continue to work collaboratively throughout this week on solutions to help Texas families and ensure they do not get stuck with skyrocketing energy bills. Well, here's the thing, all right? If you're a family and you're on limited income and you get a bill of $10,000 or more, how in the heck are you going to be able to pay that? And if they can't pay it, they'll probably, they'll wind up shutting their electric off, shutting their utilities off. And then what do? You're backing people into a corner and they have no options. And I'm sorry, trying to get a credit card that is that much, or even a loan to pay that, is ridiculous. It's a bad idea. All you're doing is delaying the problem, and you're going to wind up paying a lot more for that bill because of interest rates and stuff. My family, my wife and I, we've had problems with credit cards in the past, and we just drew a line and said, no more. No more credit cards. We're not dealing with this anymore. I turned 50 this year. I can't deal with it anymore. I can't deal with credit cards anymore. All it does is open problems. It just opens the opportunity for problems, especially if you've got a bill and people are saying, well, just put it on a credit card. No, because you're still going to have to pay that, but then you're going to have to pay more than that. It's ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. We drew a line. We said we're not doing it. We're not doing this anymore. So basically, last Monday, when the freezing weather went through Texas and much of the United States, the wholesale price of electricity shot up 10,000%. We were talking about. So it was about $50 to $64 per megawatt hour, and it went to somewhere between $9,000 $11,000 per megawatt hour. That's just absolutely insane. Now, by yesterday, power had been restored across much of Texas, though there are many people that still don't have water because pipes froze and they busted. So they're going to have to boil the water to get the impurities out, and or go get bottled water. But then, if you've seen pictures, like, the stores are bare. People freaked out. Stores are bare. There's nothing in there at all. Hopefully there'll be good news out of this in regards to these bills, and I'll be able to share that with you. But anyways, let me know your thoughts. Prayers to those that are going out there, Texas. If you are in Texas, please, I'd like to hear from you in regards to what's happening there. And by the way, if you are new to this channel, I hope you'll consider subscribing and clicking that notification bell. Be a part of our KILR community and get those notifications, so that way you know when future content is uploaded to this channel, because I do it throughout the week. This series is on a variety of different topics. I do what I can to stay away from politics, but sometimes there are certain things that I want to be able to cover because they're relatively important, and this is one of the things that I think is important. But generally, I try to keep things uplifting and positive and fun. Also, I'm on social media. All that stuff is down below, so please take a look at that. Other than that, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it, and I will see you on another rambling episode real soon. Have a killer awesome day.